Hi guys, welcome to season 3 of Optimism's Peak. I am so excited. I'm so excited for this season. Thank you guys for coming back. I thank you for the new listeners. I thank you for the old listeners. I want to thank you guys so much for all of the emails that I've received about guests, and just keep them coming. I have so much in store for this season. This is an evolving podcast. Forever. You guys know, especially if you've been listening to me, that change is my thing, right? And I always want to make things better. I always want to come correct, right? I always want to make sure that I am giving you guys the best, right? So if you are new here, my name is Shanique, aka Nike Marie. Everybody calls me Nike or Nike Marie. I am an entrepreneur. I am a student now, which is insane. I'm in a master's program now. But I do a little bit of everything, and of course, I am an optimist. This podcast is all about remaining optimistic. This podcast is here to help you, right? This is your podcast, and that's what season 3 is going to be all about. I will have guests that will come from a myriad of different backgrounds, a little something for everybody. And I want my guests to share their stories, share their experiences, to give you guys inspiration, to educate you on some things that you may not know, right? To give you some aha moments. So everybody has a little bit of everything to something to contribute, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for season 3. I'm excited for the wide array of people that will be stopping by the podcast to say hello, to tell their stories, to tell you a little bit about themselves and their journeys. This podcast, like I said, is all about helping you, the listener, helping you, the viewer, because we will be on YouTube as well. So you will be able to access this content, of course, through Spotify, through Apple Podcasts, through Anchor, wherever you get your podcast, as well as YouTube. So just, a little bit more about what to expect this season. Expect some good dialogue between some, familiar voices. And when I say familiar, you might not know them, but you know what? Their stories might be close to yours. So we're going to keep being optimistic. We are going to keep this positivity going. And we're also going to get some tools along the way. So welcome. So for my first topic of this season, I actually want to talk about relocation, because it has officially been a year. October, so last month, was an entire year that I have moved, relocated to the DMV. And it's so funny because people have told me that I should create a podcast about my experience here, because it literally feels like I've lived 3 different lives here. But I won't do all of that. No. But I do want to talk about relocation, and hopefully this podcast, this episode will be a good resource to someone who's looking to move out of their hometown, looking to move, out of their area, and looking to relocate. So I moved from upstate New York to the DMV area. What led me to wanting to actually relocate was the fact that, I personally was not growing where I was. And honestly, the environment around me kind of pushed me to want to um, move on to bigger and better things, right? Sometimes you outgrow your environment. Sometimes there's things that happen that shows you that you're not supposed to be somewhere. And let me tell you something, when God is moving and shifting things around and he's telling you to go, then you should just go. And I've honestly felt that way for a long time. I did live outside of, upstate New York very briefly. When I was about like 19, I did an internship in California, and I lived out there for a little bit, which is why I have this connection with Cali, and I go out there often, and I love it there. I really, really love it there. My dream, let's manifest this. My dream is to be bi-coastal. I really want to be bi-coastal. And now that things have been expanding, right, for me, definitely, is there like a word for bi-country? I want to live in another country as well, but that'll be another topic, because that's actually a big one. So again, I felt, and I was led to leave, and I know I made the right decision, because ever since I left, I have thrived. There has been some bumps in the road, of course, but based on the previous seasons, that I have been sustained. So I'm not even going to complain about the things that happened, because they led to where I am now. I'm currently in a master's program at Howard University, so I'm excited. HU, I'm a bison now, and that was completely unexpected. It was a random thing, and I feel super blessed. I also work for a political entity in DC, so that's pretty nice. And I started a new business endeavor. So things are shifting around, super busy, and I think when things fall into alignment, that's when you know you are in the right place, you're doing the right thing, you're following the things that you need to follow. So let's get back to this relocation. Because it was not easy. So I am a person who likes to plan, right? And I will look something up to exhaustion. I will literally be on Google. I'm looking at the Yelp reviews. I'm looking at everything. So, finding a job first, of course, and coming back and forth for interviews was just so stressful. To me, it was a 6-hour commute. So I'm spending, weekends in hotels, or I'm spending weekdays in hotels, trying to find a job so I can transition, down here. So definitely, my advice would be to find a job, make sure your income is good, make sure your credit is good. So do things that kind of set you up for success in your new location. Everything is not going to be perfect, right? What ended up happening with me is I found the job, and then the job was pressuring me to, move a little quicker than I was really prepared to, right? Because after the job, you have to find an apartment, and sometimes apartments aren't available, right away, or you're on a wait list, or, you're not giving them enough time to have something ready. Like, you need that like month and a half buffer for apartments. At least down here, you did, and I know upstate you do too. So, just do some research in your market. Another thing that was helpful to me was I knew someone in the area. Shout out to my friend. She's actually gonna be one of the guests this season, and I won't mention her, but she showed me around, and she asked me about the apartment places, apartments I was looking at, in neighborhoods I was looking at, and we actually parked. Like, she would drive me to the neighborhood, or she'll drive me to the apartment building, and we will walk around the area, like, just to see how it was on foot, because on a website it looks a certain way, when you're even walking down the street in Google Maps, it feels differently, but when you're actually there, and you're like, oh, okay, it takes this long to get to the train station from here, even though they said it was right across the street. Or you know what, I don't really like all of these clubs over here, and I actually live in a clubby area, but anyways, like, I don't like all of this foot traffic. It's something that was very unique, and I appreciated her for doing that, because it made me realize, hey, maybe I wouldn't like this particular building in this particular area. Maybe I would want to look for something closer to, I don't know, somewhere else. So preparing yourself, but actually physically putting yourself in the environment. I know sometimes it's hard to do that, but I think it's definitely beneficial. So another thing I found helpful, when relocating, was um, the fact that I knew I had to edit, right? Like, there were certain things I could not bring with me, and it made me realize, all of these things I was kind of holding on to for no reason. So, moving somewhere, think about, like, the things that you want to actually tote and bring down with you. Um, and think about things like that, like the logistics of, I don't know, like shipping a car cross country versus driving it, or pulling it on a trailer, how you're going to get your stuff down there, right? I looked at different moving companies. I looked at, like, what's that place, I looked into U-Hauls. I ended up going with the U-Haul because it was the cheaper option. But there's places where you can load up containers, or load up, boxes, and they'll come pick it up and drop it off, in front of your apartment building, and you have a certain amount of time. I almost did that, honestly. Pods, I think that's what they're called. Pods. I could not remember the word. But pods. There's long distance moving companies. So whatever is more convenient for you, whatever's economical for you, I think it's definitely worth looking into. And if you want me to go into, like, further detail about how I kind of came to these sort of conclusions, then I definitely can, because I realize that I can I can go on and on about details, because I'm a detail person. What I wish I knew before, like, moving, now that I'm a year in, now that I'm, like, here and I'm settled, I feel like, although I did a lot of research on different communities in different neighborhoods and cities and towns, you never really, really, really know, like, the real until you are here. So if there is a way to get something short term, or to spend, like, a month, like, without committing yourself to an apartment, I would definitely suggest that. I love where I am. I have a very nice apartment, but it is super expensive, and and I realized that I'm a suburban girl. I love being able to hop in my car and go to a drive-through. And where I live right now, like there's nothing like I have to make an effort to go to a drive-through, and I can't stand it, you know. So just like conveniences that I literally took for granted, you know, living upstate New York, I kind of miss, you know. Now I'm in more of a city setting, and things aren't that I mean, I'm not gonna complain because things are accessible, but like in walking distance. But sometimes I just want to get in my car. I don't want to get out the car, you know, and I just want to get something real quick, and that's not like really possible here, at least in the area that I chose. Another thing I wish I knew about was like grocery stores and grocery shopping. My friend told me that I have to go to where the families are, and apparently I live in a place where I don't know. I guess you got to choose like the right day to go to the grocery store because I'm just so spoiled. I'm used to going somewhere and finding everything I need at one or two places, and here you really have to hop around. And I think it's because I'm like spoiled because of like, you know, the stores that I had where I used to live. So it's another thing I wish I knew. I also signed a 2-year lease here, and I feel like that was a little bit of a mistake. I don't think you should overcommit yourself, especially when you're brand new, being somewhere, because now I'm here and I'm here for another year. And you know, I know what I was thinking when I signed the lease. I'm like, I don't want to move. Like, there's no way I want to move, you know, again, especially after moving this long distance. Like, no, there's no way. I'm signing. I'm not, you know. But in hindsight, I'm like, no, I should have chose differently. But you know, you live and you learn. But yeah, those are some things that I kind of wish I would have known about. Was like conveniences that I'm used to. So just take inventory of things that you're used to, convenience wise, and also think about like the type of lifestyle that you want to kind of like live. You know, I am around a bunch of clubs and bars, and that's not my life no more. It is not. I don't even know. Like I wasn't listening to my friends, but it's not even my life anymore. Like I don't even go to the club. Like I'll go to a good lounge. Sometimes I'm good for a good brunch, you know. Um, you know, I'm good for, you know, a cool little, you know, breakfast, you know, get cute, you know, little lightweight, you know, mimosas, bellinis. But the club, I don't do that anymore. So it's not even like my jam. And it never really was, even back then. It wasn't. Nah, it really wasn't back then either. So the fact that I'm here and I'm 33 and I'm like over like the club thing or whatever, but I'm around nothing but clubs. So, you know, I'm pulling into my apartment building and there's crowds of people. It's just annoying, and I just feel like I kind of didn't even consider that. So consider the location, try to test it out before you get there. Do your research. I'm telling you, read reviews, talk to people who you know like have lived in the area, like somebody knows someone who knows someone. I know it's very hard, it's very difficult moving somewhere where you don't know anyone. When I was in California, I didn't know anybody in California. No one. So, you know, I understand that piece of it, but do as much research as you can. Try not to overcommit because you don't really know a place unless you're sitting there, you're living there, you're sleeping there, all the lights are off, there's no sound, and you hear outside, like you don't know. So just kind of try to test the place out before you go there. But yeah, those are my tips on relocating. So of course, consult. If you feel like you're being led to relocate, if you know like this is what you're supposed to be doing, then get in alignment, do what you need to do. Things will fall into place. Don't force anything. Yeah, that's all I got for you today. So thank you so much for listening. Welcome to season 3. Hopefully you're a little bit more optimistic after hearing this. I want you guys to have a good week. Thanks for listening to Optimism's Peak. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. I am _Nike.Marie_. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I believe my Twitter is like Nike Marie. Hold on, let me find it. Let me see. Yes, so the Twitter is at Nike Marie Life. So you just look up Nike Marie. I'm there as well. If you guys wanted to email me, if you wanted to be a guest, or if you had any topic suggestions, send that email to nmarieprm@gmail.com, and I will take it into consideration. But yeah, I'm so excited about season 3. Thanks for listening to Optimism's Peak. Have a good week.